everyone. Welcome to another episode of Inspiration Talk. I'm very excited about today's episode. I have a very special guest with me today. Before you all think who is with me, let me welcome her. Hello, Nikki. How are you doing
I'm
today?
good, thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Same
Nice
here.
to be here.
Thank you so much for joining, Nikki.
So, Nikki, what do you think about meditation? What exactly is meditation?
This is a great question because I direct people to meditation all the time in my readings, and there is a lot of resistance to meditation. And there's a misconception that when you meditate, you have to be able to have a completely empty mind, sit there in total silence, and be completely connected to the ethos, to source energy, to whatever, and it's got to be done for hours in order to be effective, which is just not true. Meditation can take many, many forms. People can meditate when they are just taking a walk in nature. It's about having a quietened mind, not a completely empty one. It's taking time to breathe and to be still within yourself so that you can get rid of the chatter that's going on. We all have millions of thoughts every day processing through our brains, and we don't take time to stop and to breathe and to focus on just being here now. And that's what meditation is. I mean, I do various different forms of meditation. I will sit in silence on sometimes I will have just music playing in the background. Sometimes I will do a guided meditation, which, by the way, if you like me, when I first started, I was so fidgety. I couldn't sit still for more than 30 seconds without going, oh, okay, I've had enough of this now. Guided meditations are great for that because they do tell you to focus on your breath. You breathe in, you breathe out, and it just quietens you down, just gives you that opportunity to pause in the hectic life we live and reflect. And you often find that things that drop into your mind when you are meditating, if you have a thought, people are like, oh, it's ruined, something's popped into my head. No, that's something that's popped into your head very often will be something that you need to actually pay attention to. And in the space that you've created by focusing on your breath, by not focusing on your thoughts, that one that's dropped in, you say thank you to it. You acknowledge it and you come back to it later because it's dropped in for a reason. So, very often you'll get a lot of clarity through meditations. And, that's the way I connect with source energy, with the spirit world, with whatever you want to call it. That's the way that I connect to the universe, is through meditation, through having that time to be still and to be quiet.
So, are there any types of meditation?
There's, like I say, there's guided meditation where you can listen to somebody talking you through how to get into a state of meditation. There's a really great guy, and I've forgotten his name now, and I knew I would, but he talks about how meditation is about being conscious, being consciously aware of what you're thinking, of what you're doing, taking conscious action. And that's what meditation is. It's being conscious of what you're thinking, what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're smelling, so meditation, you can do it, you can do it in sitting down on the floor if that's what you want. You can do it laying down on your bed. You can do it sitting on the sofa. You can do it out in nature. It's great to do it out in nature because there is something so magical about sitting underneath a tree and just connecting with nature. But some people find that they kind of go into a bit of a meditative state when they're driving, it's obviously you've got to pay attention to what's going on around you when you're driving. You can't close your eyes, but it is just that chance to quiet the mind, to be still and to be alone with your thoughts rather than rushing around thinking, right, I've got to do this and then I've got to do that, and all of that sort of thing. So yeah, there's meditation music, there's meditation for a purpose, like you might have a healing meditation for healing your chakras, or an energy healing. You can do meditation for manifestation work. I mean, there's all sorts. Go onto YouTube. There are so many different types of meditation available. And it depends whether you like listening to the sounds of thunderstorms, the sounds of the ocean, music that plays, or whether you like someone to talk you through it.
Okay, so how can meditation make life better?
Because it gives you an opportunity to gain clarity. It shows you that we all have autonomy over our lives. We all make decisions every single second of every single day that dictates what happens in our lives. And meditation helps you to be still and to see where you might be going down a negative path and going down a way that you really shouldn't be sort of heading that way, because the more you look at the negative things, the more negative things you attract. So with meditation, it gives you that chance to just be still and to be quiet and to connect and to reassess your life, reassess your day, and just re-energize you as well. It's refocusing, re-energizing, and connecting. And so often we are receivers. We receive TV images, radio images, social media. Everything is coming in all the time. Meditation is about stopping all of that, and the only thing you're receiving is your own voice and your own thoughts and your own sense of self. And that's really powerful. It's a very powerful tool.
So Nikki, how one can be positive every day? Like there are times when a person tries to be positive every day, but he or she won't be able.
There is always something we can be positive about. You can wake up feeling ill, feeling cruddy, feeling whatever. But the thing is if you can practice gratitude and appreciation for things in life on a daily basis, you will lift your vibration up and you will feel that positive energy. The more you can be grateful for what you have and what is around you, the people in your lives, the more you will start to feel that positive lifting energy. And we all have them. I've gone through depression. I've gone through anxiety. I've had all kinds of issues, and I still do. I'm a human being. People have problems. They have sad days. They have bad days. But is it a sad day or a bad day, or is it a sad moment or a bad moment? Does it have to make it into the whole day? Or can you find something that you can be grateful for? Even if it's you woke up and the sun was shining, because every single day there is something to be grateful for. At the end of the day, we are living, we are breathing, we are fed, we are clothed, we have family, there's something that you can be grateful for. And if I ever struggle and think, well, I don't have anything to be grateful for, I just have to look in the next room over to me at my children, because I am grateful for them every single moment of every single day. And so if I ever get into a really bad state of feeling sorry for myself, they're who I look at. But writing down 3 things a day that you are grateful for is a great practice to get into. And it can be anything from I'm really grateful that my morning coffee was so hot and lovely. It doesn't have to be something mind shattering. But if you're then struggling on a day to find anything to be grateful for, you can look back at those other things that you've written down and see how many good things you have experienced in your life.
Okay, that's right. So as you spoke about anxiety, so taking the word anxiety, what do you think anxiety is exactly? And why do people face anxiety? Even if there are people who will still try to think positive, but they will have anxiety problems as well.
Yeah, and anxiety isn't something to be sniffed at. It's something that it can come from nowhere. People will get heart palpitations, they'll have trouble breathing, feel constricted, have panic attacks. And anxiety can be a social anxiety. Some people, they find going into social situations very intimidating and scary for whatever reason. And it is a real big issue. And a lot of young people, especially these days, seem to be suffering more from anxiety than ever before. And I think that we need to recognize that this issue exists, and we need to be putting in place things that can help people who are feeling anxious. Telling someone who's feeling anxious to just calm down or breathe. That's a great one. Just breathe. When they're having trouble breathing, saying to somebody, just breathe, it doesn't work, because that's what they're having trouble doing. So, it's like if you're having that kind of anxiety attack where you're struggling to breathe, it's the greatest thing to do is get them to focus on 3 things that they can touch, smell, and see. Physical objects that they can touch, smell, and see, and get them to focus on those things. And it starts to kick in a different part of the brain. And that's just one technique. But there are techniques out there that can help people that do suffer with anxiety. But telling them to breathe or telling them that they're okay, it's not as helpful as people may think it is. It's one of those things that is very personal to each individual person, because different people suffer with anxiety in different ways. But for me, I would get very anxious when I would go into a crowded shopping center, or be in a crowd of people. It would cause me to have anxiety, because I would start to feel claustrophobic. I'd start to feel like I couldn't breathe because there was so many people around me. And I've realized that part of that is because I'm an empath, so I pick up on people's energies, and so it gets overwhelming if I'm in a big crowd. And over the years, I've had to learn to guard my energy and to protect myself so that I don't take on, sorry, that was my cup. So I don't take on everyone else's energy, but there's different reasons and different things that cause people to have anxiety. And there's like our children today that are in school and in university and college, they're going through all of this with a global pandemic. And we wonder why our children are suffering from anxiety. And I was like, nothing's normal. Nothing's as it should be. And they don't know what the future holds, and they don't know how it's going to affect their exams and things like that, and of course they're going to feel anxious about it. So it's the job of everyone who is not feeling that way to help those people who are feeling anxious, help the people in your life that are feeling anxious, help them to feel secure,
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so one more thing from this, as there are people who have stage fear when they see the crowd, or when they have to say something in front of large amount of people, so they have some sort of phobia. So how to overcome by that phobia?
Those phobias are very much fear-based, and anxiety can be fear-based a lot of times. Sometimes it's not, but those particular phobias, there are techniques you can use to calm yourself, and meditation is one of the best for that, because meditation helps to put you back into your body. It helps to center you and to ground you. And often we fear the unknown. And so speaking in front of a big crowd, for example, will be that, well, am I going to look foolish? Am I going to make a fool of myself? Am I going to forget what I was going to say? All of those kinds of things. And, it's about taking the baby steps and practice and putting yourself through little trials that you can build up your confidence on things. It is about confidence. And there's all kinds of things. I mean, people have gone through hypnotherapy and things like that to help. I don't know anything about hypnotherapy, but I know that that's helped some people. But I would say, meditation is a great way, because it is just a way of being quiet, being still, and seeing things from a different perspective, and just build up to it, and don't put so much pressure on yourself. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to feel nervous. And it's okay if you say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing or you make a mistake. It's okay. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. So don't put so much pressure on yourself.
As you said, meditation plays an important role in our life. So what role does it play in phobias? Like, for example, if a person has acrophobia, aerophobia, autophobia, claustrophobia, like there are a number of phobias. So how one can overcome by phobia via meditation?
Well, the phobias, they are there's many, as you say. There's many phobias. There's many different things. And they usually stem from something that has happened, that has caused this phobia. Like, a lot of people will have, say, for example, you're saying about swimming, the fear of the water may stem from getting almost drowning as a child or something. There can be reasons behind, and sometimes it can be so deeply buried that people don't know the reason behind. But then there can be some that are just irrational. Like, I'm terrified of spiders. That is an irrational fear. In this country, there isn't a spider out there that can hurt you, So the irrational fear of being afraid of spiders is something that I have actually learnt over the years to control it a bit. When I was younger, I would just run, or I'd freeze if I saw a spider, and become catatonic. I remember when I was little, there was a big spider on the wall in my bedroom, and I walked into my bedroom and I saw it, and I just froze on the spot, and I tried to say dad, because I wanted my dad to come and get the spider, but all that was coming out was, nothing was coming out. I was mouthing it, but nothing was coming out, because I was literally frozen in fear. And yet over the years, what I found worked for me is, because I used to be a teacher, I used to be a primary school teacher, and my classroom, you would get spiders coming in. And of course, as a teacher, you can't stand there and go, it's a spider, because you're going to terrify the whole class of children, and you're going to give an entire class of children a phobia of spiders, a fear of spiders. So I had to learn that self-control. I had to learn to kind of go, okay. And it started off with So, is there anyone in this class that really likes spiders? That was how I started. So I got a child who really liked spiders to catch the spider and put it outside. And then, but then other times I'd have to be seriously brave. And, I'd just put a cup over and a piece of paper underneath and take the spider outside. And I'd be shaking the whole time doing it. But because I had to keep doing this, because I knew I had a responsibility to the children to not be a gibbering wreck because there was a spider in the classroom, it lessened my fear. And now in my own home, if a big spider comes in, I just put a glass over it, put the paper underneath it and put it outside. I still don't touch them, but I'm not afraid to do that. Whereas in the past, I would have just frozen. So part of the point of that story is part of getting over phobias can be done when you are faced with someone who has a greater need than you, So like the first time I ever traveled on an aeroplane, I traveled with my best friend. We went to Spain together and my best friend sat there in the seat next to me. Now, it was the first time either one of us had ever been on an aeroplane. And she was terrified. She was shaking. She was crying. She was so scared. Because she was so scared, I wasn't, because I sat there holding her hand and telling her it was okay and trying to make her laugh and, doing all those sorts of things. So I never had the chance to develop a fear because she was so scared. So that's one way that you can kind of cope with a phobia, is when you've got someone else that you need to not show that fear in front of, because, especially if it's a child in your care, you don't want to transfer that fear onto them. But other ways, sometimes you just need to speak to somebody, you need to talk to an expert. Like, say, hypnotherapy is one thing that I know people have done with big fears, especially fears of flying and things like that. Just talk it through. And even if you don't want to talk about your fear, you can talk it through with yourself during a meditation. You can just sort of go through it and rationalize it. And because a lot of fear is irrational, a lot of it is irrational, but it doesn't make it any less meaningful to you. The worst thing you can do is say to somebody, oh God, why are you scared of that? That's ridiculous. It's like, no, because to that person, that is their fear, and that should never be diminished because you're not afraid of it, But acceptance is the first thing, isn't it? Accepting that you're afraid of something, accepting that you need help with something is the first step in recovering from it, But depending on the fear depends on how you treat it, really,
That's absolutely right. And it was great talking with you, Nikkie Jay. I really enjoyed talking with you. I know also enjoyed talking with you.
So if you enjoyed this talk, then don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. And also, if you are interested in listening to me on tarot readings, seeing me on YouTube, you can find me. I am on there as Pink Moon Tarot. Please do like, share and subscribe to that channel as